Well, all right. Good morning. My name is Lance. I'm the North Dakota Carnivore, and it's been one of those mornings already. So, how are you doing today? I just got done with a morning meeting with Larry at Carnivore Quest. He's changed his times in the morning. He used to come on at 11:55 a.m. and he'd call it the morning meeting. But most of it was in the afternoon on the East Coast. Now he's changed it, and he did it at 8 o'clock in the morning. What would it be, 7 o'clock? One day, and then he changed it to 9 o'clock. That's my time. So it'll be 8 o'clock his time. And then this morning he just got done doing his, and or actually his, I think his is still going. But I take part in that meeting. It's actually been a great help for me. When I started my live streams and doing this here on the weekends, he wasn't doing those yet, so he was just doing it Monday through Friday, and there wasn't really a need for, or there really wasn't a bunch of people doing them on the weekends. Here in the last couple of months, I've noticed a real uptick in the number of people that are doing weekend live meetings. So it's actually really nice to see, because there's so many people that really need the live streams on the weekends to be able to continue on with what they're doing, whether it's a carnivore diet, a keto diet, or just needing support for anything. Monday through Friday, you can find it easy, but on the weekends, it's a lot harder. And of course, I get my coffee. And let's see, what else do we have going on this morning? Well, it's one of those amazing days. I did a fast this week. I planned on doing it for a minimum of 5 days, 5 to 7 days of what I wanted to do. And I did make it. I listened to my body. So when I got to the point where I was having trouble, I had to stop. And the trouble I was having was with being cold. I have issues with that, and it comes and goes when I'm fasting. So when I get to over the 86-hour mark, going into the fourth day, I started to get cold, and my hands, I could not warm my hands up. They would not, for whatever reason. So I ended up breaking my fast at 97 hours. And the fast itself was going good. My blood glucose dropped like it should. It was down into the 80s and 70s, and the CGM I use doesn't go below 70. But my Keto Mojo was showing my blood sugars at times down in 65. My ketones were up to 3.8, which was giving me a Dr. Boz ratio. If you look at the Dr. Boz ratio stuff, if you know anything about that, my Dr. Boz ratio was at 20, which is it's a medical state where people with cancer, if you have cancer, you can get your ketones up and your glucose down, and you can get a Boz ratio of 20, or basically a GKI, glucose ketone index, of 1 or less. You're in a medical state of ketosis where you can actually fight cancer, and you can fight seizures and epilepsy and stuff like that. It's actually not a bad place to be. So, but that's where I ended up being at the last 2 days of the fast. But then I got to the point where my hands were so cold I couldn't warm up. They didn't have the pink color. They were more of a gray color, and my blood flow to my fingers just wasn't good. I actually had a hard time getting blood to do my ketone test. So I chose to end my fast at 97 hours. And one of the reasons why I did that is because of the weather change. Wednesday and Thursday, our temperatures dropped here and down into the single digits, which I had trouble the last time I fasted when it was really cold out because of the same thing. So I decided, I'm not going to deal with that again. As soon as I started getting cold like that, I was like, no, I got to stop. My plan was to do 5 to 7 days where I would stop and get my what do you call it? Ketones up. So when I go to the dentist here in a couple of days, I would have been just finishing a fasting state. My body would be making some important things for it, and I would heal faster because last time I went to the dentist, I healed a lot quicker. Well, good morning, Janelle, Abby, Jordan. How are you this morning? It's nice to see you here. Now, Janelle is my daughter, and Addie and Jordan are my granddaughters, so it's nice to see you guys here. How are you? What are you guys up to this morning? So, but the whole purpose of that fast was to get my ketones up into a state, get into the different parts of fasting where you can do a lot of good stuff with your body. And you have to do some studying and some research on a fast. But when you get into that point there's so much your body does in a fast, and it heals so much of your body, and your body actually really, really heals faster when you're in a high level of ketosis. So because I ended my fast early, I'm thinking I'm going to do another fast here starting Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon. So I'll be in ketosis again when I'm at the dentist again, and that'll be good. The girls are talking back to me on TV. They say good, and they're playing. Well, that's good. Hopefully, you girls are listening to your mom. That's always a good thing to do for young girls, is to listen to their mom. But the whole point of the fast was to be in a better state. So when I did go into the dentist, and I got these 2 teeth are being removed, and I got a bridge that I'm going to be putting in. So next week I'll have a different look. Probably won't notice it. Might be a little swollen still, might be a little sore, but I'll still be here. And let's see. What the heck? That's not even the picture I was trying to put on there. But hey, that's me throwing my granddaughter in the air, and that's Jordan. That was the last picture I put up before I put this one up. So it just popped up there first. So this is a picture of what I broke my fast with. So I broke my 97-hour fast with bacon and eggs. I had 3 over easy eggs. These were actually cooked really, really quick. Let the cast iron get really, well, it was on a medium heat, but cast iron, just the way it heats up, it was actually really quick. It was only a couple minutes and then to cook these here. And then the bacon, my wife pre-cooked the bacon, and I just heat it up. I like it nice and crispy, so I don't eat toast anymore. Well, what do you have with runny eggs? Well, you have bacon. You scoop up the yolk with the bacon and use that instead of toast. It's a great way to do it. And then after I ate this here, I waited for, it was just over an hour, and I made, what did I make? I had ground beef patties. I made 2 ground beef patties. I had 2 ground beef patties with bacon and cheese on it. An hour after, well, I started making about an hour after that. So that's how I broke my fast. Then I had a glass of bone broth. So having the bone broth is, if I just do the bone broth, it doesn't work well for me. So I have to do something else. Hey, good morning, Uncle Willie. How are you doing today? Nice to see you here. I see I made it onto Rumble again. That's always a good sign. That means something's working right. One of the things I don't know if I made it on there is when I stream this to X, I get a message up on my stream up here that says that it may not be streaming and I might have to go in different ways, but I'm looking at it right now and it looks like I am live on X. I just don't ever get anybody commenting from X. I have people watching on X right now, but I don't ever show anybody making any comments from X on here. I've only had one person do that, and that was Dave Schmidt from Keto Carnivore. He came on one day and messaged me that he was on watching. So, hey, all you people on X, and I know you're out there, send me a message. Join the live stream. That's what this is all about. You can type a message in the chat. You're having issues, you want to share what you're doing for the day, go ahead and do that. But that's what we do here. This is a meeting for support so that people can get additional support on their way of eating, or just somebody here to talk to, because sometimes on weekends, this is the hardest time for people to deal with this stuff. It's the hardest time I've had. Like when I'm fasting and stuff, I have a hard time on weekends. Yesterday, when I got home from work, before I went to my hockey game, this was my dinner. Now, when I refeed after a fast, it's usually only like at 24 hours when I'm back to eating normal again. And last night, I could only eat that. I was not hungry for anything more than this here. And that's unusual for me. So hopefully I'm getting my hunger and satiety signals fixed. I've had troubles with those. Ghrelin is your hunger signal, and that I've always had that hunger signal. And then the leptin is your satiety signal telling you that, hey, you're full, you don't need to eat anymore. And I don't really get a whole lot of that one. So there's a lot of times I don't know to stop eating. Uncle Willie says, feel like crap, couldn't sleep, and was up till 5 a.m. Oh, that's not good at all, Uncle Willie. You catching this crud that's going around? I know that's affecting a lot of people. People at my work and all around the country are running into this here gunk and stuff. It's not a good thing. But just having the satiety signal telling me that I don't need to eat anymore, and it actually showing up while I'm eating just 3 eggs, ground beef. That was 3 eggs over easy, ground beef patties, and bacon and cheese. Generally, I would have ate 4 to 6 of them after coming home from work and not eating for 12 hours. It was actually 24 hours. That was a OMAD meal. And I wasn't really hungry. So it's actually pretty nice to have that. Now, I show these pictures often so that people can see, what I do eat. Do I eat a lot of steaks? No, I don't. I do eat steaks. Generally, something like this here, where it's a ribeye or a New York strip steak, and then I'll throw some shrimp on it. And then there are other times where I just eat something like this. This is a power bowl. This is just ground beef, bacon, and eggs scrambled up together. A couple pieces of bacon on top. This is a power bowl. It has everything that you're going to eat in it. And all the fat that comes from cooking the ground beef stays in there. And I generally add a couple more teaspoons of butter just to put it in there and to make it absolutely delicious. I eat a lot of ground beef patties with, you see, I like shrimp. Seafood's a marvelous thing to eat. Shrimp, salmon, you can look up different fatty foods, sardines, mackerel, all kinds of different foods that you can do this year. And it's cheap. These two, this Power Bowl and these ground beef patties, they're simple to do. They're cheap to do. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You save a lot of money doing it that way. Yes, if you buy ribeyes from the store, already cut, you're going to spend some money on this, and it happens. But if you go out and you buy a whole roast, a whole rib roast, you can save some money. I just picked up some rib roast here in town for $9.99 a pound. That's ribeye steaks that I will be cutting myself for $9.99 a pound. You can't buy two of them at our store for that price. Our price at our local store here for a ribeye is like $23 or $24 a pound. It's just crazy. You're catching life stress. I get it. Car trouble, roof leaking, basement flooding, and broke as a joke. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. That's when life and stress happen, it really sucks. Cortisol going up, and it affects so much with your body. Blood pressure, blood sugars, your satiety signals. It really, stress is it can be a great way to motivate, or it can be a great way to demotivate somebody, to take everything out of a person. It really sucks, especially when it messes with your sleep. That is something that's not fun. Never is. Yeah, and I was not able to. I actually had a couple of videos. I'll have to probably put them in there tomorrow. When I made these are runny eggs. So I did a couple of videos showing that breaking the egg yolks open with this here and the yolk running down the egg. Oh, they were so good. I really enjoy that stuff. So now I put out a video just the other day on my channel on YouTube and on X. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to put it on the Rumble. It wouldn't let me upload that video. And so I just said the heck with it. I put out a short video on Rumble, a clip from the first one. Anybody talk about FOMO here? You know, the fear of missing out. Oh, Uncle Willie, what are you saying? Your demons want you to lay down and eat junk. Not today, Satan. Hell no. You know better than that. You know what it does to the body. You know what it does to you, Uncle Willie. You don't want that. So, the fear of missing out. Let's go back to that real quick here. I put out a video, was it yesterday that I actually came out for the fear of missing out? And that's Thursday night, I think. But anyway, the fear of missing out. People use the fear of missing out for a lot of different things. You hear people say that, you know, they came off of their diet because they were at an event, and, you know, the fear of missing out of eating what they're doing and where they're going and stuff like that. I use my fear of missing out as a strength because it's worked for me before. 2012, when I was 292 pounds, fat, laying on a couch, watching TV at 11 o'clock at night, while I was at work. I used to work at a place where I was the person in charge of the location. I lived there for 24 hours a day for 2 weeks at a time. And so I was always there. So I had a place I slept. If they needed me, they woke me up at night. And I was always on call, salary job. And laying there one night, it's like 11:30 at night. And the infomercial for Sean T's Insanity came on. And I was like, what the hell? I've got to do something, because I was huge. I was 292 pounds. I was big. Had a young son. I wanted to be there for him. So I used the fear of missing out, being able to do stuff with him in order to lose weight and get in shape. Let's see hey, good morning, Aaron. Can't stay. Yeah, you're doing hockey this weekend. You have a great time there. Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Hey, by the way, hit that thumbs up button. Give me a like. I appreciate it. Yeah, intermission of skates. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that you were doing that when in Larry's meeting this morning. But I used my fear of missing out to get healthy. I did Insanity for 4 years. I dropped 80 pounds, and then I had heart issues. Ended up having heart surgery. I had really bad anxiety. Well, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you look up here, it's all just backwards. I do have a certificate up here now. So I spent from October until February doing a health coach certification through Kilts Health. So I actually am a certified health coach now. So I do have to watch what I say at times. But I've got a lot more information. I've got a lot more knowledge than I had 6 months ago. That's for sure. It's a 12-week course. There's a lot of information in it, a lot of learning to do, and a lot of good information in there. If anybody wants to do something like that, I definitely recommend doing it if you have the time. Now it's a learn as you go type. It's on your own. The first 2 classes were live with an instructor, and they use those videos to help teach the class now. The FOMO, all those specialty flavors of everything. I was always a sucker for those Oreos and M&Ms. Yeah. Well, see, Aaron, and that's what I did. I used my FOMO, my fear of missing out, but I turned it to my fear of missing out on my family, the fear of missing out on my son growing up. And now I'm using that as my FOMO, the fear of missing out on my son, my daughters living their life as adults, and then my grandchildren that I have now, and the ones I have coming in the future, missing out on watching them grow and watching them become adults. And the worst one of all was the fear of missing out of growing old with my wife. I couldn't imagine leaving her. Oh, thanks, Janelle. So proud of you, Dad. I appreciate that. But it's my fear of missing out that I'm using as a strength, and the reason why I do this right now. That's what helps me. I don't want to miss out on my grandkids. I don't want to miss out on my kids. I don't want to miss out with my wife. These are things that people I love, and I want to be there for them. I was so big before I started my carnivore diet, before I started trying to lose weight and get off my blood pressure medications. I was 347 pounds. I couldn't go to the state fair because I was so big. I couldn't walk around. My wife got me the scooter because I was that big. It hurt my feet. My feet would kill me after 20 minutes. I'm not sure. I don't remember what year this one was. That might have been 2012 23 or 2022. This is 2023. 2023, or it might have been 2024 in March when we went to the Vegas Golden Knights, and you can see how big I am, and this was me last week. 2 years ago, last week. It's a big difference. 3 years ago, you can see how round my face is. It's almost as round as Pooh Bear's. I was big. I was huge. I showed this picture earlier. It's me throwing my granddaughter in there. You can see how big that belly is. I was absolutely big. I can't believe I let myself get back to that point, but I did. And a lot of that was my anxiety after I had my heart surgery. I had anxiety so bad I couldn't do a workout. I couldn't get up there. I couldn't turn it on. I couldn't show up for myself. This is me after a year on the carnivore diet. Here's a before picture, and you can see how big my belly was. And 1 year after that, it's a big difference. Huge difference. And I'm clicking through here, dropping in videos or dropping in the pictures as I'm doing. I can only have 10 pictures in StreamYard at a time. So if I want to do stuff like this here, I can put 10 of them in there, and then I have to delete some and move stuff around. But this is what our country is coming to, and this is what's happening with kids right now. And this is where I don't want to be. This is where I don't want to see people at. Children of the corn syrup. Growing up, I don't ever remember seeing kids. I know they aren't real. This is AI created by somebody else. I just found it and I laughed my ass off on this picture. But this is what's happening. This is part of what's going on with our world right now. Everybody is becoming obese. Everybody is getting so much extra fat on their bodies. You're seeing kids today that are heavy like this here, and they shouldn't be. Young kids are type 2 diabetic. Type 2 diabetes generally didn't exist 100 years ago, 120 years ago. It's not something that happened. And it happened once in a while, but not very often. The treatment for type 2 diabetes, when it did happen, and like I said, it wasn't very often, was to cut out all carbohydrates, to go on a strict meat-based diet with a high fat. That was the treatment before insulin was invented. Since insulin invented, now we look like this. We look like these kids. And I looked like the little boy. I was huge. I had a big old belly. Actually, I looked like the little girl here. I had the big old belly like that, the big old pouch. It's just crazy. Uncle Willie says pre-diabetes is a thing now. Yes, it is. And by the time you get diagnosed with pre-diabetes, that comes off of your A1C, you've had elevated insulin for a long time. Doctors are not trained to check your insulin levels. For me, I'm not going to get blood work again without having my insulin level checked. A fasting insulin level will tell you more about what's going on with your body than most any other marker. If your fasting insulin is high, you have other issues going on in your body as a result of that fasting insulin being high. And if you look at the ranges that will come with it, most labs have anything under 25 is healthy, is acceptable, and it's not. If you're over 10, if you're double digits, it's unhealthy. You need work. The optimal range, and I'm getting this from Dr. Berry. This isn't my information. This Dr. Berry, Common Sense Labs. It's a great book. Fasting insulin should be 6 or less. Optimal is 6 or less. And that helps you with so many things. Basically by the time your blood glucose is elevated to the point where you're constantly high and your A1C is in a pre-diabetic range, which is above 5.7, your fasting insulin has been high and elevated for a long time. As an adult, if you're hitting that, your fasting insulin level has been high for years. Kids, it's affecting them a lot faster. For an adult, you've got 10 to 20 years of high insulin before that happens. Kids nowadays, everything that they're eating is so high in carbs and so high in seed oils. It's just crazy what it does to your body. Your body is not meant to eat all this stuff. Can you eat carbs? Yeah, you can. Should you eat carbs? If you have to, yeah. Why not? Should you eat them every day? No, you shouldn't. Our bodies were only meant to eat carbohydrates, fruits, and vegetables when they're in season. And the high carbohydrate and fruits and vegetables, the high sugars, the fructose, and everything in there signals your body to produce more insulin. And insulin's job is to store fructose as fat. And that's what it does. It stores it as fat. And why is that? Because when the fruits and vegetables are in season, it's at the end of a growing year, the coming of a cold spell where foods may be harder to find. And what does that mean? Well, that means you're going to be burning your body fat for energy in ketosis. It's a time of where your body's going to be fasting. So you want to have a little extra fat on your body so you can continue to fast. You lose that excess weight and excess fat over the winter. And then when spring hits and you can start finding your animals again that you're supposed to be eating, you go away from eating the plants and stuff, So you're only supposed to have the plants for a short period of time and not every day. It's not what they're meant for. So you have no idea what your blood numbers are currently, can't afford to check. My money is going towards daily survival. Yeah. A lot of people's is right now too. It does get rough out there. Where are you at again, Uncle Willie? I cannot remember what state you're in. Uncle Willie's been coming to my live streams for a while. He also goes into the Carnivore Quest live streams and talks in there, and I see him around in other live streams too. Well, I just can't remember where he's at. Like Aaron up here, he's up in New York, Buffalo area, so I know where he's at. Of course, I know where Janelle is. She's just down the road over there. Actually, wait that way. But we're not supposed to be eating carbohydrates consistently, constantly. It's not what our bodies are meant to do. We're supposed to have them short term for a short amount of time. And if we can do that, then your body will be a lot more healthy. Heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, dementia, all this stuff. all has to do with your fasting insulin. It really does. It's amazing the effects that fasting insulin and the amount of, well, actually not just fasting insulin, the amount of insulin in your body does at all times. Oh, you're down in Kentucky, that's right. I knew you were down in that area. I just couldn't remember. For some reason, I was thinking you're in Tennessee, down in Dr. Barry's country, which, man, Kentucky's not that far away. I've been to Louisville I flew in there and then got on a bus and went somewhere else. But never really spent any time in Louisville. There's, yeah, no. I have packages that have gotten lost in Louisville, never to return, never to show up. I had that happen to me the other day. I ordered something from Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and it was supposed to be delivered, a couple of days later. And then it got, your order has been delayed to the point where it's never showed up. They'll give you it was supposed to be shipped on UPS. I had a UPS number and go to a UPS website and track it. That number does not exist. So it was never shipped. Just sucks when they do that. Oh, but people can use the fear of missing out as a strength or as an excuse. I'm using it as a strength. I've come to learn that that's what works for me. I don't make an excuse if I have something that I shouldn't. Last weekend on Saturday and Sunday with the hockey game, I had popcorn because I can. I'm not a diabetic. It didn't hurt me. Went to a hockey game last night. I had popcorn again last night. Last night it did affect my blood sugars a little bit. It did raise my blood sugars, and they were elevated overnight, which it happens. Oh, you're about 15 minutes from Churchill Downs? That's awesome. Do you ever go to the track over there? I've only been to a horse racing one time. That was a horse track. Where the heck was it? I think it was in Wisconsin. And went with the gentleman that was dating my sister. Went to the races with him. Had a good time there. But using the fear of missing out can be used as a strength. I don't want to miss out on my family. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here is for my family. I want to be present for them. I want to be able to go outside in the summer, in the winter, whenever, play with the kids in the house, play with them in the yard, be around because they're important to me. And I'm using that fear of missing out to get my body healthy, to get me to not look like this anymore. I'd rather look like this. Still don't have hair. Still don't care about it. But, if you look, when I started the carnivore diet, it was probably a week after I started, I tried to measure my belly. And my tape measure I use for measuring body only goes to 60 inches, and I could not get it around my belly. My belly was over 60 inches round. A month after being on carnivore, I was at 58 inches. I barely was able to measure my belly. And that is just crazy. Uncle Willie says he used to gamble no more. Yeah. Gambling can be one of those habits that people pick up that is extremely powerful. It's a huge addiction. When I was in the military, I remember we had one of our One of the guys I knew, he got a really bad gambling habit on slot machines. You get paid on the first and the 15th, and by the second and the 16th, he was broke. He would spend his entire paycheck on slot machines. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. I use FOMO to stop looking like this and having to use a scooter so I can actually walk and enjoy myself at events. I went to the state fair this year for the first time in 3 years and didn't have to have a scooter to go through the fair. It's kind of embarrassing when you have to have one of these scooters and you run into people there and they're like, why are you even that? I can't walk. It really sucks. Hey, good morning, Brian Biscuit. Appreciate that Bryce biscuit. It was actually pretty cool. It was a really good class to go through. Oh, you're 20 minutes from the Jim Beam distillery. Bourbon and gambling used to be your thing. Yeah, Jim Beam. Yes, I remember the days. I used to be a really big alcoholic. Well, once you're an alcoholic, just like anything else, with when you're an addict, you'll always be an addict. And I used to drink Jim Beam a lot. What's one thing about the military that they do teach you really well? How to be an alcoholic. It's almost like a requirement to be promoted and to move up the chain, and it's to drink a lot. And at least it used to be back in the 80s, back in the 90s. Yes, I am that old. Did you? But it does. I used to drink a lot of Jim Beam. That was the good stuff. Hey, Brian, it's nice to see you here. How are you doing today? You like this format better? Oh, you just checked out with Larry? Wow, he stayed on this whole time? Dang, that's a long live stream. He seems to, when he starts his live streams earlier like that, he does like to run them longer, which is pretty cool because stuff at work sometimes gets in the way and I am not able to go and check him out. But if he does his stream a little bit longer, I'm refilling my coffee mug. If he refill or if he starts them in the morning, and he can run them later and stuff, but it's nice for people to be able to go to it and see. He seems to be doing so much better right now. And his spirit he really seems to be a lot better than he was last summer. Last summer is when I found Larry and Cassie. I subscribed to the channel probably in November or December of 2024, but I never really started watching them until they fell off the wagon. And then when he started doing his morning meetings, is when I became a paid member of the channel and stuff. And I've been going to his meetings like that ever since. And just his whole attitude and his whole spirit seem to be so on point now. It's a much better place where he's at. Yeah. Brian T just came from Larry's also. Yeah, that was a long live stream. He tries to do an hour, but does go over at times. Oh, you're dealing with the trolls again. Yeah, there was a troll in there earlier. I can't. He should have a couple people as moderators in there to boot those trolls out. That one guy this morning was just terrible. Knob Creek Rye was your favorite. Was your drink of choice? Yeah, the Knob Creek isn't a bad one. Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. When I was younger, that's what I would drink. As I got older, I chose more like Pendleton. Uh, I enjoyed the Pendleton whiskeys. They were pretty good. I stopped drinking whiskey in October of 2025. So it's one of the things I just one day decided to stop drinking. Actually, I owe that to Laura Spath and her YouTube channel. She went over what the different drinks you can have on carnivore and what you shouldn't have on carnivore, but she didn't actually say you shouldn't have them. She's just described what each of the drinks do. She went through the pops, the juices, the coffees, the teas, the sports drinks, and then she saved alcohol for last. Now, at this point, I'd probably done 4 or 5 months of research on the carnivore diet. I'd watched a lot of Dr. Anthony Chafee. He's got some really good videos. Watch some of his videos, and he talks about what the liver does for your body in some of his videos, and so did Dr. Berry. And your liver does like 600 functions every hour. That you're alive. 600 different things every hour that your liver is doing for your body. Now, when you drink alcohol, what does your liver do? It stops all of those functions to metabolize the alcohol and get it out of your system. So however long it takes to get that alcohol out, your body is no longer doing those 600 functions. Your body is no longer healing. And without the healing going on, it's just going to take longer, right? And Laura Spath never said in the video that you shouldn't drink alcohol, that you shouldn't drink any of those drinks. She just told you what it did. And when she explained that, as soon as you start drinking alcohol, your liver stops doing its functions and it concentrates on getting the alcohol metabolism out of your system and, get going like that. It made sense to me. And I stopped drinking after that. I still have, up in the cupboard here, I still have a bottle of whiskey that's got about that much whiskey in it. I stopped drinking it. It made sense to me. Hey, Heather, how are you doing this morning? Heather, by the way, also goes as Grandma Goat. She's got a great YouTube channel. She put out a nice video today about what she eats in a day. The actual video is really good. One of the recipes that she put in there, one of the things that she made was a pork belly. My mind just went blank. I hate when that happens. The way she cooked her pork belly in there was something I'm gonna have to try. As I got some pork belly in the freezer, I got thawed. Oh. No, Bride's best for you. Myers spirit, especially considering Cassie's recent struggles. He is a gem. I agree. And as much as Larry's doing this as a way for support, not just for people in his community, but for himself also. He gets as much out of the live stream as everybody else. And it really helps to support him. And the more positive people we have in there, the better it is. Hey, Franks, nice to see you here this morning. Frank says you might try my first time watching my stream. You've seen other videos and subscribed way back. Congratulations on accomplishments. Thanks, Frank. And I saw your comment the other day, and no, I've only deleted one video ever, or one comment ever on my channel, and yours was one of them. I don't mind people who disagree with what I have to say. It doesn't bother me. And there are so many different ways of looking at stuff, and I look at something just a little differently. We can have disagreements and we can still be friends. I don't mind. And Bryce says, hey, Frank, yep. I built a great community here and recently bona fide certified. Yeah, Kilt's Health. It's amazing. Frank, you've lost 9 pounds over your 2-week trip to Georgia from Missouri. eating mostly ground beef, walking several days, a mile a day. That's amazing. Congratulations. I know you've had some struggles too with everybody else with losing weight and staying strict on the carnivore diet. Ground beef, it's cheap and it's effective, and you can get that in so many places now. It's not the best place, but you can get it from fast food places like McDonald's and Wendy's and uh, Hardee's, Carl's Jr.'s, all these other places. I don't. Okay, so I left off one of them in that. Yeah, I left the king off of it because I don't care for that one. It just doesn't taste right. Um, they've got that plant-based burger that they push, and I can't handle that one. Bryce biscuit, wine was your beverage of choice, but you did 2 to 3 bottles a night at your peak. Wow. Liver nearly fully healed today after abstaining the past 2 years. Yeah, there's so much that alcohol does to your body, and it really does hurt your liver, your kidneys. So many organs are affected by it. Just getting rid of the poison that it is, and your liver will heal, and it'll heal pretty good. You can regrow. I think it's like 3% of your liver. That's what you need, and then it can start to regrow again, but it takes a long time. Yeah, slow roasted bone-in pork butt the other day. It was absolutely heaven. Best cut of meat you've had all year. Truly memorable. Well, Bryce Biscuit, I am actually getting ready to throw a pork butt on my smoker. When I get done with this live stream, I got to pull it out of my garage and set it up outside. And then I bought the Austin XL smoker last year. I wonder if I can throw this up here real quick and get rid of the Children of the Corn. Like I said earlier, I can only put so many pictures in here. Do I have it here? I don't think I have a picture of my actual smoker. Well, that's not nice. But I do know where I have it. But I bought the Austin XL Pit Boss smoker from Walmart last summer. And I learned how to smoke on a pellet grill, which is a truly amazing thing. I don't have the patience to do an offset smoker. I don't think I could ever do something like that. The offset smoker they're amazing things. But I did pick up the XL. It's a pellet grill smoker. It's amazing. I've made some really amazing foods on it. And I am going to be throwing a pork butt. Now, forgive the way it looks because it's a little bit, where did it go? There it is. This is what I've got. Forgive the way it looks. It does have to be clean. It's been used for a year. But I'm running it right here, burning it and heating up the offset or the attachment to it. On the right side there, I'm going to be throwing that pork butt in there. I'm going to be smoking it in that just to get a pork butt. And I'm getting ready to throw that in there now after this meeting. And it'll be ready sometime tonight, 12, 14 hours. I can control this here from anywhere, so it's not going to be a bad thing to have. Hey, JP, good morning. How are you today? It's nice to see you here. Just finished my extended water fast. Yep, you haven't heard. Well, I talked about a little bit earlier in the stream this morning. I actually ended my fast at 4 days. Wednesday and Thursday, our temperatures dropped here. Thursday, I could not get my hands warm. They wouldn't warm up. So I broke my fast at 97 hours, which is 4 days. I wanted to go 5 days to 7 days. And other than that cold spell where my hands wouldn't warm up, I had a hard time getting blood to check my ketones and blood sugars on my Keto Mojo because my hands were so cold. And other than that, the fast went really well. My ketones were up. My glucose was down in the 60s. My ketones were 3.8 on the last day. So it went really well. What I'm going to do is have that pork butt. Now I'm going to throw on the smoker, and we're going to have that tomorrow. And then from there, I'm going to start another fast, and I'll fast through my dental work that I'm having on Wednesday. I got these 2 teeth are getting eaten out, and I am going to be getting a bridge put in. So found out when I had this tooth pulled, this got an infection in it in a matter of a couple of days, and so I had to be on an antibiotic. But when I went in for this tooth, I found out that not only do I have an infection in this one, I have an infection in this one. Wasn't aware of that. It did bother me because it was a draining abscess. So it never got to the point where it came to a head. It would drain itself out. I've had dental work done on this before. This is a post, and then the tooth next to it had a root canal done to try to, basically what they're trying to do is get rid of the infection, and it didn't work. And I can't remember what the procedure was called, but they ended up taking my gum line from here to here, cutting it along the teeth, and then peeling it back and then scraping out the infection. It was not a fun procedure, and I don't want to go through that again. But that's removing this post and then pulling this tooth out here will eliminate the dead rotting shit that's in my mouth, and hopefully I don't get any more infections. But that's what I was doing for my fast. So I wanted to get into that state of autophagy and healing so that when I had that procedure, I would be able to heal quicker. Well, because I broke my fast on Thursday night, I'm going to start another one Sunday after my last meal through my dental procedure on Wednesday. Pork butt is next level. Yep. You haven't had one, you probably over a decade. Yeah. You forgot how good it is. And it is. Pork steaks. When you have a pork steak, that's part of the pork butt. Especially when you get the bone-in pork steak, that's part of the pork butt. And it is delicious. Yeah, you're not used to the Carnivore Quest new time slot. Missed this morning's meeting. Yeah, I missed the first one he did at 8 a.m. I did miss that one because what was that, 7 a.m. his time? No, 9 a.m. his time. I missed that one. I have a regular meeting every day at that time, so I wasn't able to go to it. I actually did pop in on my phone on mute so I could put a message in saying that I was at work and I couldn't do it. And then he moved it so that he's on now at 9 a.m. Central Time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow he's going to change it to a different time. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. The smoker looks better than what you have, which is a bottle of liquid smoke on your shopping list. Wait, that works too. And you can cook all this stuff in an oven too. It just has to be low and slow. And I've actually, some of the best ribs I've had have come out of my oven. They just have to be seasoned properly. A lot of people can cook the briskets, and you can cook the pork butt and all that right in the oven. I enjoy the smoke flavor. I use Bear Mountain oak pellets, and they have an amazing flavor. You had a lower lateral incisor removed. You used to put my cigarette in the gap. Yeah. That's what a lot of people, I've seen that with a lot of people too. They got that gap there, and that's where that cigarette goes. Yeah, Heather, I so appreciate Carnivore Quest and my live stream. Thank you. You don't know how much I needed this community. I do, because I need it too. I know Larry gives me compliments all the time that I'm doing so well, but part of the reason why I do well is because of these communities. I use these communities as a strength. I learn from everybody that's in these chats and in these groups so that I don't make the same mistakes that they've made. Larry and Cassie, they share their struggles, they share their mistakes that they've made. They own up to them. They don't try to hide it. I've learned from Larry and Cassie. They have helped me tremendously knowing what to avoid for a lot of the stuff. But not only that, what works. It's really sharing that helps so many people. And it's so nice to be able to go in there. You have so many people that are in that group. Like you guys, Bryce Biscuit and Uncle Willie. Uncle Willie, if you guys don't know, is Crispy Bacon and on YouTube when he goes into Carnivore Quest. Heather, Grandma Goat. Again, check out her channel. She's got a great one. John Together Strong. Love his video. It was such an honor. It is such an honor to be part of that video that he did. That really surprised me and shocked me. I was kind of choked me up a little bit. That video I did the other day for the FOMO, I had a script that I was going off of, and I had to read and go through that script 20 plus times before I could do it without tearing up and choking. For me, it was very emotional, and I had a hard time. I actually had to, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not. My wife was standing right on the other side of the monitor that I'm using right now when I was doing that. So I was reading that script and kind of looking at my wife. It was the only way I could get through it. So, and it's been an hour now, and I appreciate everybody coming on here and hanging out with me for the last hour. I do have to get going. I'll be back again tomorrow, but I'm getting ready to go throw that pork butt on the smoker so that I can have an amazing dinner tomorrow. Maybe they'll have some pictures over here I can show tomorrow. You all have a great day. We'll see you guys in the streams and the chats. And until tomorrow, have a great one. Eat meat, be happy.